son Stanley was born in 2014 and was diagnosed with a rare genetic condition in 2016. He had quite complex needs. His needs grew more and more as he got older, and he sadly passed away in June 2019 when he was just 4.5 years old. What mattered to me the most out of everything was that Stanley was comfortable. That was my number one priority. I really felt like I was part of the team of professionals that dealt with Stanley. They included me in all the big conversations and the little ones, asked my advice, respected the fact that I knew Stanley so well and that I had quite a vast knowledge of his rare genetic condition. So yeah, when any big decisions were being made, I felt like I was really part of that, and that really helped. We had a few quite traumatic visits to A&E with Stanley, and sort of had to start from scratch in terms of letting people know about Stanley's condition and what was normal for him, and it would be quite stressful if he was quite poorly. And we had a couple of incidences where Stanley was sort of jumped upon, and a lot of stressful intervention was made, which wasn't really what I wanted. But in an emergency situation, I felt a little bit pushed out. After sort of letting people know how I felt after a couple of these admissions, we had some notes put on, even at the doctor's surgery, notes that the paramedic could read. So any admissions or emergency situations, or even a visit to the doctor, it would be flagged up that Stanley was under palliative care, and that the main priority was his comfort, over everything. I didn't want a situation to be stressful. In case the worst happened, I'd rather it was done, everything was kept a bit more calmer. We were really lucky. We had a really lovely team, and I really struggled as Stanley became more and more poorly. I struggled to get him out of the house to appointments and things like that. He was so much more comfortable at home. It was a big upheaval for him to get him up and out for maybe a 10-minute appointment or something like that. So we were very lucky. We had a lot of, even the consultant, Stanley's consultant, would pop in at home to see Stanley. And so he could sort of have a look over him rather than just do a phone call. So he would come to the house, which was just such a huge help. And that wasn't just the consultant, that was the complex care team, the palliative care nurse. People would come to the home, which was so much more helpful and really supported us in keeping Stanley comfortable. We had a referral to our local children's hospice in the early days, I think, of when Stanley was diagnosed, and that really that's one of the best things I think that happened to us as a whole family. We all loved the hospice. It was very good for my son, my other son, older son. I think at the hospice, they understood. It was nice to be really understood. They do palliative care, that's their job, and that's what really suited Stanley and suited us as a family. His comfort was a main priority, and each time we would go there, he would be looked after people that knew him very well. So it gave us that break, but that was crucial to our lives, having those stays at the hospice and having those relationships with the other families as well. I think palliative care services could be improved in a few ways, really. I think having more, if possible, having more over the phone consultations, maybe video calls, to save families having to make long trips when their child's very poorly, or even short trips. Any trips hard. So I think that over the phone consultation being more available would be great in place of a face-to-face. Another way I think children's palliative care could be improved is to offer families a lot more support to stay at home with their child.